Hey TarotTube, I thought it would be nice to just come on and do a video about how I have got a new deck into my collection, but I'm modifying it to meet my needs and to encourage you when you have a deck that's like almost right, you can change it, you can make it yours. So I'm going to show you the how and why of how I am modifying the Mindscapes Tarot. So first of all, how did I find out this deck? Oh, it was on Hermit's Cave. And if I remember, I'll put a link below where he talked about this. And he cited this as a really beautiful deck, one of the most beautiful decks he had found. And it is. And the artwork is all original, which is a really nice thing to discover when AI stuff is beginning to become a problem, at least for people like me. So John A. Rice is the artist and the creator of this deck. This is what his guidebook looks like, but you're going to see that this guidebook is not going to be super useful to me once you find out what I did to the deck. So he did use the traditional court names, kings and queens, which I am taking that out of my repertoire. I'm doing no kings, and no kings is going to permeate my life in many different ways, so I can't really have that kind of archetype in my spiritual practice anymore. It's just got to go. And it's easier for me if I don't have to reinterpret cards and like play fun games with language. Like I get a king, and so I think, oh, a leader, something, whatever word I would want to put in it. So I'm just getting rid of it. And there are lots of decks that you don't have to. They found other words for it. But this is what I'm doing with this deck. I think I've already taken all of the face cards out of here. I have. So I can't really show you that anymore because they're gone. But I'm going to show you the 3 steps that I take to modify this deck. So what's important to me is that I want to preserve the beautiful art. And these are some finished cards, right? So now I've got this art. I put it down so you get a clear focus. So I've got this art, and if it's a major arcana, it's still got the number on the top. But anything else, it's just art now. So those of you who like to use like Dixit cards, for example, to do intuitive readings, I've turned this deck, even though it is a standard tarot deck, so it's got all the archetypes and meanings, if you believe that collection of meanings has got value, and I kind of think it does. I believe in the collective unconscious. So it's here now, but it's not going to have the same language, the same keywords or guides for you. So for example, let's get out of a major arcana. Let's find, okay, oh, there's another major. Okay, here we go. Here's 2. Look, we don't know. Are these what you would think of as a court card, or are they minor arcana? Don't know. There's no clue here. So you're just going to see the image. You're going to see this. It could be a mill. It could be a water mill. Well, it is a water mill, but it could be for any number of powering purposes. We don't know exactly. We see a house in the background. We've got this window. We have this particular palette. We've got water. We've got a little lizard or salamander, something, little light up here. That's what you've got. You've got just the image to work with. Same thing here. So this is an interesting pairing because we've got 2 windows, different shapes of windows. This one we have a little artist mannequin. Somebody is, this is interesting because if I look at what's being drawn here, I don't see that clearly reflected in the landscape that they're looking at. So maybe they're doing something from memory. I don't know, but here's the tools. There's no color in the picture yet, but there is plenty of color up here, right? When we have the paints are ready to go. So now you're just going to have to work with those kinds of things, what you can literally see. Now, if you know your major arcana from memory, you see the 10, you know what the 10 is, and he's got some things in here. So let's just see what that is. So, right, so you know this is the Wheel of Fortune. And here he's depicting it with a spider web. And we've got the typical kind of interpretation for it. Life cycles, karma, destiny, turning points, right? Was he going to talk about the symbols that he's used here? No. So you could look up your majors pretty easily after, he's got all these, you could look up your majors pretty easily if you like. And he's using color theory. So that's helpful if you want to use that. So you could spend some time studying how he uses imagery and symbols, or you could just let your intuition tell you what you want to see about this. So, like I said, if you decide to really modify it, then the deck has the guidebook has limited use for you. But I'm keeping it. Yeah, I'll keep that. All right, so here's my 3 steps. So this is what the cards look like when you get them from the box, right? Now, the lighting in here is a weird mix of natural light from the window over there, artificial light from my ring light over here, and an overhead light up here. So the colors are pretty good, a little on the cool side, I would say. That's what you're seeing. So this is what you're going to get if you don't do anything to the deck at all. Let's just look at a couple of these so you get a feeling. Because the deck without modification is still, it's really lovely. It just doesn't meet my personal needs. And that's what I'm here to talk about. This is a beautiful deck as is. And I'm going to show you how I've changed it to meet my needs. Like I said, we don't see any court or face cards at this point, right? Because I've already taken care of those. So here's the original artwork. Really very beautiful. I got to agree with the people who are quelling over how lovely this is. It is beautiful, right? Really, really nice. Okay, so that's that. So first step is I trimmed it down. Now, what I wanted to take off was the words and leave just a frame. It's kind of hard to make the frame completely centered within the card when you trim it, because it's not centered to start with. Depending on the card, you may have, like, look, there's a little bit more frame over here than on this side, and the lines are not perfectly straight. So when you go to trim it, you're going to get a very irregular? Yeah, irregular works. You're going to get sort of irregular framing here. And also, I love this one. Also, you are going to get your back is going to change now. So we've got a little bit of the frame around here on the top and the sides, but you're missing it on the bottom, because where I trimmed here, it cut it up into this water. So we don't have that black line. Now I could have gone over and put the black line, but I didn't. I just left it. So here's the final. So now I've taken this, I've trimmed it, and now I edge it. Now I'm going to, this is just one layer of ink, and you can see it's kind of irregular. Here's another one that I did. I've got this. This is the Hoodoo Tarot, and I deliberately colored this one to be irregular. This is sitting here because I just used it for a reading the other day. So I deliberately did it irregular on this Hoodoo Tarot. But here I am going to want a more solid color, so I will probably go over this 2, maybe even 3 times to get that blue to be completely solid. And these are the tools that I use. So I like Copic. Copic is an alcohol-based ink. This is the sort of top of the line, but there are store brands, like Michael's has a store brand. I forget what they're different. There are other brands that are not as expensive. I have these because I use it for actual artwork, but I'm also using it to edge my cards. So here's how I edge it. Let's take one that I haven't done yet. Okay, so here's one that's trimmed but not edged. So here's how I edge this. And oh, I just got a whiff of the alcohol. That was exciting. So what I'll do is I'll go around one side like this. Little art ASMR here. So I go one side. So I did this one holding the back of the card towards myself. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'll do another go round holding the image side of the card towards myself. Right, there we go. Now, because this is alcohol, it's going to dry pretty fast, but I still do take these and I put them, like I don't immediately stack them in a pile. I spread them out across a surface and let them dry completely before I stack them. And then once I do stack them, because I got the, it gets it wet, so I put them underneath something heavy that will sort of straighten them out. Now you'll see that the quality of the cardstock changes once you do this. Once you trim it and you edge it, see how it changes? Like this is a much more even thing than this is. And there's no way around that, no matter how fussy your trim work is. All right, how do you trim it? So obviously you could, freehand it. So these are paper scissors. I only use these for paper. So you could, like freehand it if you want. So with a card like this, if you're really careful, you could do that. Or you could, get a straight edge and draw a line with a pencil and then trim along that. I prefer to use a paper cutter. Now there's two main kinds of paper cutters. Let's see if I back out for this for you. So this is what I think of as a blade runner. This, you've got a blade and you're running it across the paper like this. This is the Fiskars brand, but there are plenty of other brands. I didn't start out with Fiskars. I used a different one for a while, and that one wasn't made anymore, so on and so forth. There's like rotary things, and then there's guillotine. Guillotine is the one that just kind of, you close it down. I find those very hard to be super accurate with. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what the measurement is side to side, top to bottom, and then you're going to trim it. So, right, so here I'll just give you an example. Let's see if I can square this up. All right, so what I'm going to do is this one, I don't know how much the camera is going to see this, but there's a little wire that I can see here, and that's where this is going to go along. So I'm going to cut one side. And then I know how much I want this to go. So I know that I need to put it right here to this little line. So I'm going to edge up this side right there to that line. Put this down and I see, yeah, that's going to work. The line is all there. You may have to kind of go back and be fussy. Sometimes it takes a couple cuts to get it right. So now with this particular one, it's uneven. I've got more frame on this side than this side. That's the way it is. Life is imperfect. I accept that. Now I'm going to do the other sides. So I took that out, and I know that this one, I need to go right to the edge of that mark. Now I see here, if I do that, I got my line in, right? Because you can see it on the wire. So with this one, I did a better job getting the frame centered top to bottom than I did side to side. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to do the corners. Where's my corner rounder? Here it is. So I use this one. I think a lot of people use this one. Let me just get you close in here. So I want the smallest rounded corner. So we have small, medium, large. So I'm going to do this. When you do this, you have to make sure you get it really all the way in there. Otherwise, you're not getting the corner. See? So here it's straight, just a 90 degree. Now I'm going to use my corner rounder. And I've got a round corner. Doot and doot. Okay, so here it is. Can you remember what this is? It's the 9 of branches. but that's going to go away from me. It's not going to be the 9 of branches anymore. So now, after I do that, I'm going to edge it. Get the right side. I like to use this side for the edging. Right, so I'm not going to do the whole thing, but this is what I'm going to do again, right? And then I'm just going to add it to the pile once the ink has had a chance to dry, and weight the pile to try to get this to be as flat and even as it can be. But it's not going to be. You can probably see, I don't know if you can see, maybe so this side is curved up a little bit, right? Like, look, see, it's not really flat, and it probably will never be. How am I fortifying myself? I'm fortifying myself with tea, as I do. This is not sponsored in any way, but this is the Elderberry Fortress Herbal Tea, and isn't it beautiful? Look, that's the color it gets. So I'm probably going to use this once the ingredients dry out. I'll probably use that for some spell work later, because you know, Elderberry Fortress, that's begging to be used for spell work, right? Okay, so now I've got this. Let's take what I've done so far. So because this is now not a complete tarot deck, it's now turned into sort of an oracle deck. Let's just do a reading. Now I'm going to show you I made a boo-boo. Look at what I did to this one. So this was a major. It's a strength. Now, as it happens, this is one of the cards that I relate to the strongest. It's strength. I relate to it strong. Okay. Yeah, we got to have a little bit of mirth. So I am going to take this card, and this is now going to be my significator. So let's see. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. You're here on my creative process. Since I managed to actually eliminate the frame there, I'm going to eliminate the frame completely. I hope that showed up, because I did not look in the, I didn't look in my thing to make sure that was showing. Okay, so I'm now going to take the frame off of every part of this card and turn this into my significator. So now this will live, when I put this back in the box, I guess I'll show you after we do a quick reading. When I do this, put this back in the box, this will live on the top, and it will be my significator, and I will pull it out. Okay, so I've done that. Let me edge this, and then we'll do a little reading for me. What shall we do? What shall we do? I've been doing shorts about resilience and resistance in these troubling times. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reading for myself about being resilient. There's a lot going on in my life besides just the fact that the United States government has decided to wage war on its citizenry. I've also got personal stuff too. So I'm going to use this little quick reading. It's going to be an intuitive reading, and I'm going to use this as my significator. There we go. Let's just do a little ritual for this. So these are the cards that I'll be using. This is going to be my significator. And let's take a little Florida water, and I'm going to put a little bit of this on my hands. Got to make sure it dries all the way. Don't want to get that on the cards. Just a little here. Going to warm this up. And I'm going to put this over my third eye and call on my guides to help me with some wisdom here for myself, as well as anyone else who might watch this and feel that they could use a little bit more resilience in their lives. Taking a deep breath. Okay, so here's my significator. I'll put this over here. I always call on the four corners: east, south, west, and north. I'm not going to give my full language to you here. Just say that Pachamama, Father Sky, my angels, my ancestors, all my guides, give me a message to help me be resilient, as well as anyone else who might watch this video at some point in time. So, not the full 78 cards, just this one. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, I'll give you a moment to look. I'm going to have a sip of my Fortress tea. You can see if something is jumping out to you. Let's get this as close in as we can. There's my significator. All right, this is what I see. I feel that this is my home with the lights. The lights are on in my home. And that means I'm here. I am present. I'm going to stay present. I'm not going to turn off the lights. I'm not going to check out. I'm going to stay present. And I'm going to light the light. I'm going to light my lighthouse so that those who the people that I need to be with, the people who might benefit from my message, or I might benefit from them, they can find me, so we can find each other. And I look out from my lighthouse, which is going to bring to me the people, the energies that I need to be resilient. And I look out and I see that it's not dark. It's not dark. There's light. There's shadow. There could be some danger out here. There is some danger out there. But there's light. Even it may be diffused. It may not be bright and clear, but it is there. And I need to keep my light on. I need to shine. I need to draw the right kind of people and energy to me. And I need to make myself available to the people who would benefit from being around me. So that's the message I get. Maybe you got something else. If you want to share it below, that would be wonderful. And that's it. That's how I'm going to be using the Mindscapes Tarot. This is my little modification of the tarot to turn it into more of an intuitive deck for myself. And how I got the how and why of how I got there. If you thought this was interesting, please hit the like and subscribe so other people could find me. Like if you liked it and you think somebody else might like it, help them to find me. Yeah. All right. Be strong. Stay safe. Keep the light on. Bye-bye.